Welcome to The Common Fan, your go-to podcast for SEC smack talk, top 25 game day predictions, and fan-first football takes in college or the NFL. Here is your host, Bryce Tillman. So grab a drink, pull up a chair, and let's talk ball.
What's up, everybody? This is another episode of The Common Fan. I'm your host, Bryce Tillman, and thank you so much for making us a listen every single day. Today is a Friday special edition of the first trio of the Common Fan podcast. Joining me today is former first-star recruit out of North Carolina, skipped the NFL draft to go be an insurance salesman and save lives, Kyle Dewitt. Also joining me today is Cameron Williams, legendary defensive lineman for the Greene County Wildcats. Guys, what's up? We got a big slate ahead today. This is going to be an awesome show. How y'all feeling?
Good, feeling good. I heard that Cam Boney, when he put that hand in the dirt, quarterback shook.
I don't know, man. That was only when I come off the bench. I didn't get to play much.
So I can't
Good
remember
advice. It's okay.
very vividly senior year, him and another guy that played right beside him. They looked so identical when they stood beside each other, Cliff Roberts. The field was covered in sand, and they called it the beach game. And I can vividly remember Cameron and Cliff grabbing a handful of sand and throwing it in offensive linemen before the snap was even made. Want to know how they was in that field 3 plays in a row? There you have it.
Hey, you got to find an advantage when you're short like I am.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win.
That's right. That's right.
Ask any Spades player in America that. They'll tell you.
I was trying to be the Diego Pavia of the Greene County Wildcats.
Well, you had it, baby. You, as I like to say on this show, you was juiced. Kyle, what do you think we should do today on the show?
I was looking, not going to tell you when I was on YouTube trying to look at videos, but I was trying to find something to watch. You know, you can probably use your imagination. And I typed in the best or top 5 plays 2024, and there wasn't anything I could find. No good videos. So let's do the top 5 plays.
What do you think, Cameron? What about the top 5 plays for the SEC season of 2024? That sound good to you?
Yeah, that's good. There's a lot of competition with that one. I'm good with that.
This is a tough list, but we'll see if we can't get it going. We're going to start out right here at number 5. And to my knowledge, this one has to be on this list simply because it ruined Ole Miss's chances to going to the playoffs. And it's no secret how I feel about Lane Kiffin. The guy cannot win the big game, and I love every second of this play. So let's go ahead and play it right here.
4-man rush. Dart. Sidearms one down the sideline. That one is going to be picked. Another miscommunication.
Hey, that right there, I can't explain what that does inside my soul, inside my heart. Lane Kiffin's goofy-looking face on the sideline where he's like, I don't know why my quarterback just threw 3 interceptions in the last minute of the game. I love it. What do y'all think?
And to think that guy is a first-round pick, too. I mean, right? The tables turned there, man. I don't know. But that was tough. That was a tough loss. That took the wind out of them there.
And you can't take anything away from Dart, right? Dart's still a good quarterback. But, yeah, that's the game he's got to show up. You did say something funny about Lane. You know, he can't win. You know when he did win? When he was at Bama.
What? Oh, yeah. Well, he did do that. But my thing is, guys, this year, Ole Miss has a new quarterback coming in. And like Cam just said, first-round draft pick in Jackson Dart. Do we trust Lane Kiffin with a brand-new quarterback in the SEC when he's never won the big game on his own?
Kyle, tell him about them stats we just looked up.
Yeah, I mean, in all of last year, right, he was 9 of 12, roughly. I think that was about the amount of pass attempts he had. He had 12 attempts, completed 9, went 5 of 6 against Georgia in one drive when Jackson Dart goes down. Throws a touchdown.
We're talking about Austin Simmons. I don't think we've mentioned his name. We're talking about Austin Simmons here.
Talking about Austin Simmons. Austin Simmons, lefty. What is he, a true sophomore? Pitcher for Ole Miss as well. He's actually not playing baseball anymore. Really taking seriously going into this 2025 season. So Austin Simmons, I think, has the talent. Agent McCarron made a really good point on his Dynasty podcast. You can't hype up these freshman quarterbacks so much where you're saying they're really, really, really good, because they're not. They haven't played college football yet. They have a lot of talent. I think Austin Simmons has a lot of talent. Lane Kiffin has to learn to play his ball, Austin Simmons' ball, and he's got to learn how to win.
Cam, I think that sums it up right there. I mean, Lane Kiffin's got to learn how to win these big ball games. And, at times, Lane Kiffin's calls that he makes and his scheme, it scratches a lot of heads. My biggest takeaway from this is last year, with Ole Miss having the number one defense in the SEC, they were able to cover up a lot of these ignorant calls that Lane Kiffin made. I mean, this Ole Miss defense is not the same as it was in 2024. What does Ole Miss and Lane need to do to help Simmons get acclimated and make plays? And Cam, how do they overcome this and win the game that matters?
Man, me personally, I know you haven't done the Ole Miss preview yet, but just my personal opinion, I think they take a step back this year just because of experience. I think Austin Simmons has the ability to – well, we just talked about it. He's a great athlete. I think he's got the potential to be just like a dart, or, I kind of see him as like a Bryce Young. He's a dual threat. He can run. He can throw. I see. I know he ain't there yet, but I see him having the potential to be. Whether he does it or not, that he's hyped up. But the only thing about these young quarterbacks is just like Montana is what I call him, Arch Manning. He's hyped up, but he's got to prove himself. And until he proves himself, I don't think Lane does what he did last year and win that many games as did. What did they go 9-3 last year? Get knocked out of the playoffs, or 8-4? I can't remember. 9-3.
They went 9-3 and won the bowl game. So they went 10-3.
Won the bowl game, but got knocked out of the playoffs. But you seen that play? I think with the proper training there, the experience. I don't know if it happens this year, maybe next year. But he's young. I think he's got the ability to do it. He's just got to capitalize on the last games.
Two things I'll add to that before we even move on from that. Number one thing, Bryce Young for MVP this year in NFL. Two, don't ever compare Austin Simmons to Bryce Young again, because as big of an Auburn fan as I am, he is the absolute best quarterback to ever come through the University of Alabama. There's no questions asked.
Absolutely.
So, I like the comparison, but he better live up to
it. He's got to live up to that, yeah.
BY9.
BY9.
All you got to say. Now, question for you, and we'll move on. Agent McCarron, again, I'm going to go back to him. I love his podcast, The Dynasty, of course. And I'm going to let y'all simmer on this, is Tulane trap game for Ole Miss before LSU?
Yeah, absolutely. Getting the quarterback in from BYU. BYU was the favorite to win the Big 12. What is that boy's name? It just went blank in my head.
Didn't he get in trouble for having sex?
Premarital sex is a no-go at the University of Brigham Young, and
which is ironic.
That's where I'm at.
You're getting kicked out if you do that. But yeah, Cam, see if you can look up that kid's name, because it just went blank to me.
Who, BYU?
Yeah, the BYU quarterback.
Yeah. So the funny fact is, I'm right here at Brigham Young University, working out here. I'm going to catch a game before I leave.
Do they like him young though?
I don't know. I haven't been over there yet.
It says Brigham Young. That's what their name is. Brigham Young.
Oh.
But yeah, no, they were a favorite they were the highest odds to win the Big 12 before this guy got in all this, trouble. And then with him transferring to Tulane now,
Jake Retzlaff. How do you say that?
Retzlaff. Yeah.
Jake Retzlaff.
I don't know how to say his name, but he's a baller, right?
Yeah.
So with him coming to Tulane already having a good program built up. That buddy of mine, Jake Crane, made a good point the other day. John Sumrall, the head coach for Tulane, he made two valid cases. If Mark Stoops doesn't pan out at Kentucky this year, because it seems like Kentucky and Mark Stoops is ready to move on, he's the next coach in line for an SEC program. And he also made a good point. And if Hugh Freeze fails this year at Auburn, look for John Summerall to be called by Auburn
That's
University.
a good coach.
And
That's
that
a good
would be
coach.
a very good coach.
Better for you.
He's redder. He's better than Mark Stoops right now, in my opinion, in the current state in Kentucky. We'll give it one more season to Freeze before I make my evaluation on that. But
Just wait till week 1.
Kyle, week 1, Auburn's going to Waco, Texas, and beating the dog crap out of freaking Baylor. Do you hear me?
Don't bet the house on it.
Oh,
Auburn minus 13.5 right now. I'll take it.
Next play.
All right. Coming in at number 4 was a shocker to the nation last year, right? You know, this was South Carolina versus Clemson. South Carolina's been doing great all season. Clemson started out rocky but caught their groove. This game determined the playoff outcome for South Carolina, but it ended up falling short anyway. But this was a big step. If they had lost this game, they wouldn't even been in the conversation. But check this out right here.
3 wide receivers over to the left side. Harbor over to the right. Sellers in the pocket. Up in the pocket. Gonna run inside the 20. 10. Lenore Sellers going left side. 5. Touchdown Carolina. Touchdown. Touchdown Lenore Sellers from 20 yards out. The Gamecocks take the lead at Death.
So rumor has it if 52 hadn't picked up that ball, it would have still been spinning.
yeah, that was perfect.
Ball spin. That was like Agent 89, Steve Smith, ball spin.
Hey, that right there is that's the team that's going to be in Atlanta this year.
Hey, I dropped the solo prediction this morning. I had South Carolina going 10-2 in my prediction. If y'all missed that, please go check it out on the channel. The only games that had them losing to were Alabama and A&M at the 12th man. I mean, you talked about that today, Cameron. You said you're not quite sold on A&M yet. That's okay. I just know about the game that happened between them two teams last year, how that – I know A&M's got that game circled on their schedule, and it's at home for them this year. They're going to be coming ready to play. But this team, this South Carolina team, man, shout out Shane Beamer. He has put that program on notice. You know, they opened up their season against Virginia Tech, playing against his dad's legacy. You know, it's father's legacy versus son building a legacy in that game against Virginia Tech. But that play right there showed America, showed SEC fans, and showed Gamecock fans, you've got 2 more years of this dynamic freak athlete of a quarterback that's dual threat like you've never seen in this country at that school. We'll put it at that school. I won't say in this country because he is a true freshman. Because I can remember another true freshman that he's from College Station, Texas, Manziel himself. And if anybody wants to argue me on that, argue a wall, because Manziel was a freak athlete as a true freshman.
Norris Sellers, he's a sophomore.
Yeah, well, he was last year. That in that game,
I thought he was redshirted. No, I'm thinking of okay. Yeah, you're right. I thought he redshirted.
No, that's true freshman.
Got a whole nother year in that team?
I just wish he could have been 17 years old. Like we keep hearing about Ryan Williams, how Ryan Williams was 17. And he finally turned into a grown man. We got to hear that no more. Now we just got to worry about if his boyfriend's there cheering him on or not at the game.
So, question for you. You have South Carolina beating LSU?
I do. I absolutely do.
I do too.
Crazy take.
I'm big on South Carolina.
That game, yeah. Go ahead, Cam. Go ahead.
I'm big on South Carolina, but
it's at Death Valley.
Yeah, I know. I'm big on South Carolina. I really do think that they run all but the elite. But I don't know if they'll be in Atlanta, but they're gonna have a good run at it, I think.
I think they have as good a run as LSU, Texas, Georgia, and Bama. Not Auburn. They'll be further than Auburn, but
I'm not sold on Stockton. They got a great team.
What we talk about today? Ty Simpson, Arch Manning, Gunnar Stockton. They all have to prove themselves.
Yep.
So it's
Lenore Sellers has proved himself.
You don't have to prove anything.
That's right.
To an extent.
He had 18 touchdowns, 2,600 yards last year, and 7 interceptions. And
with a 69 QBR.
Yeah. I mean, that's not terrible. That's not terrible for SEC play. As a true freshman, that's pretty good.
That's true. I can't discredit that. You're right.
I'll give him that.
I'll
Look,
give him that.
when we're talking about the big dogs in this conference, unfortunately, South Carolina's just not one of them yet. They can be.
Don't even mention Auburn.
Well, we've been there, and we actually beat South Carolina for an SEC championship.
Hey, when y'all did that, y'all did have a Lenore Sellers type quarterback.
Don't ever compare them two again, bro. Don't do that.
Look at the comparisons, Bryce Young and Cam Newton.
Don't ever do that, bro.
Hey, he's as tall as Cam Newton.
Hey, he's got 3 more years to try to live up to that height. So
he's 6'3", 240. Cam Newton was 6'4", 240.
Stud.
Kyle, you was at the comeback as a pee-wee little miniature little sissy boy. You was there.
I think I was 14.
Just hanging out. That's when you gained your first star in high school recruiting. That's the only one you ever got when you was there, right?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right.
7-on-7
actually, at that point in time, I remember saying, I was like, man, I hope he goes to Carolina. What happened that next April?
Boom! Number 1 overall to the Carolina Panthers. If y'all can't tell yet, me and Kyle Dewitt are major Carolina Panther fans. We don't know why we put ourselves through this misery, but we are. So
hey, BY9.
All right, coming in at number 3. And we got to put some context behind this because, well, you know what? We'll just play it and then we'll dive into it. This is from the SEC Championship game.
Guts, the poise, the prep that this kid is showing right now.
Targeting.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. The ball carrier did make the line to gain. It'll be first and goal at the 4-yard line.
He can't move his arm.
That right arm just hanging from the side. It's like a movie script unfolding here.
Yeah.
Georgia 4 yards from an SEC championship. First down. Etienne in the I formation. They hand it to him. Touchdown! Georgia SEC champions!
Man, if that don't get you pumped up for football season right there, I don't know what can. If you don't like that, why are you watching this podcast right now?
Two things. First off, Gunnar Stockton became the first reverse Scorpion in the SEC Finals. 2, Carson Beck sold that, right? The announcer says it's like it's a movie script. It was. He sold the dead arm. He walks out there dangling like a wet noodle and then comes up to the line, calling his checks, mouthpiece, hands it off with the right hand. What a sell. Get him to Miami.
So
hey, Stockton still got a PTSD about November 15th when he plays Texas this year.
Yeah.
But he lost his hair after that hit.
What a lick, bro. What a lick. Cameron, Branson made a good point to me the other day, too, and I went back and checked it, and it's true. Etienne won both games in regular season when it comes to Georgia versus Texas. Because we was talking about Nate Frazier, talking about how good he was, and did he take the spotlight away from Etienne in a sense? And he said, absolutely not. He said Etienne put that whole team on his shoulders and toted them to the end zone to beat Texas not once, but twice in one season.
Twice. You know how hard it is for an SEC team to beat the same team twice in one season? It's unheard of.
Yeah. Bryce, I'm pretty sure we talked about it like that week going up. Like, I'm going to put my money on Texas. No way they beat them twice, you know? And then it was like that Friday was like, oh, no, we just got that feeling Georgia's going to win this one.
Yeah, that was man, that is one of going into overtime obviously showed you that's one of the better SEC championships that I've watched in a long time.
Overtime.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, touching back to Beck about how he sold that, it's just kind of just popped in my head all of a sudden. You know who else went to the University of Miami and is now a famous actor? The Rock. Is Carson Beck the next Rock?
So in his application for Miami, it did say in the bottom for like the little notes section, striving to become a movie star. Peep SEC championship. Peep the SEC championship.
Miami puts out all kind of weird stuff, right? Jimmy Graham played basketball at Miami. Ended up being a New Orleans Saints legend.
Yeah. Greg Olson was a rapper.
What's your name? G-Reg?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to – that was number 3. Number 2, another overtime victory. This one happened in Baton Rouge.
Pump fake, Nussmeier goes back shoulder, touchdown! Kyron Lacy, and LSU wins!
Look, man, Kyron Lacy, rest in peace. You know, I hate that for both families that were involved and all of that. What could have been, right? What could have been out of that? He was a special athlete, you know. Unfortunately, life just doesn't swing that way sometimes. You never know the final straw or the outcome, but we, you know, sincere condolences to both sides of that family in that tragic accident. But LSU, who they beat in that game, Kyle? Who did they beat in that game?
Tulane.
Cameron. Why can't Ole Miss win the games they're supposed to win?
Man, that's why they call him Choke Kiffin, because when it comes
down, they call him that? Do people really call him that? Because I swear
they don't. They will now.
I will refer to him as Choke Kiffin for the rest of my life.
I've heard it a bunch, man. They call him that because when it comes down to the big games, he can't clutch up. He loses them. I mean, that's happened every year that I know of the past 3 years.
Kyle, you'll probably agree with me, and I'm sure Cameron will too. And we're going to make this probably the few days before season when we do our full SEC breakdown. We're going to have brackets all the way from 16 all the way up to the champion. And in that, we're also going to rank from 16 to 1 on QBs preseason. I'll give you a spoiler alert right now. Garrett Nussmeier is the best quarterback in the SEC, in my opinion. Would y'all agree on that, or do y'all have a pushback on that in any kind of way?
Statistically, yes. If you look at what he did last year, you know, just looking at stats alone, yes, dude is phenomenal. He threw he was a 4,000-yard quarterback, right? High 60% completion percentage, a lot of touchdowns. Of course, I'm going to look at how he played in a big-time game. I don't care what you say. LSU playing Alabama is a big-time game, and he just didn't show up. I don't know if he lost his girlfriend that day, like she broke up with him. But he wasn't there.
You could argue that was a big-time game, right? I mean, that was a top 10 opponent.
It is, yeah, right, 100%. I will give you that. I do. He is the best quarterback in the SEC. I will agree, but he didn't show up when he needed to either.
No, I mean that's true. You know, and Brian Kelly spoke about this here a while back, and I know y'all seen it, where he was speaking on Garrett Nussmeier, and he says, "Man, he can throw that football. We just don't know where it's going to go."
Yeah. Sounds like my driver.
Yeah.
400-yard slice. Mine's about a 60-yard slice. So there's a big difference there. So, but yeah, I mean, this LSU team, and maybe, I mean, we tend to give LSU a lot of hype every year, rightfully so. I mean, they're a well-known program that puts out tons of talent. I don't know, man. I'm high on LSU and I'm high on South Carolina this year. That is the two teams that I'm high on. We know we kind of have an idea of what Georgia's going to be, right? We kind of have an idea of what Bama's will be just by the standards from them programs. We kind of know where they'll be at. You know, other people, I know Cam's real high on Oklahoma. I'm not high on Oklahoma. Give me South Carolina over Oklahoma any day of the week. Give me LSU over Oklahoma any day of the week. When it comes to just the SEC in general, there's always 5 or 6 teams in the rotation. And to me, it feels like 2025, they're truly if it's ever meant anything before, there really is 5 or 6 teams this year that we just don't know what's going to happen, and they really are in the mix. Kyle, I'd like to get your take on that. What if you could give out your top 5 SEC teams right now, preseason, before it drops, who are you putting in?
I mean, you got to go Bama, LSU, Georgia. Not in any particular order, right? Bama, LSU, Georgia.
None of them have to be in order because, like I said, we're going to do that next week.
I am taking South Carolina, and I am taking Texas. The thing that is big for all of those teams, right? Arch Manning is a great quarterback, I think. I think he's got a lot of talent. He's got good control of the offense. He's going to be a little bit more of a seasoned quarterback. He still has to prove himself. Gunnar Stockton has a massive arm. I mean, he was throwing them 100 miles an hour, I felt like, in the SEC championship. Not a good catchable ball. There's a difference in having a strong arm and throwing a catchable ball. So he has to prove himself. Ty Simpson throws a catchable ball. He's got good touch, but he still has to prove himself. Lenore Sellers, if he can get the minimal mistakes down, be a good game manager and still have those big plays to win, he's going to be hard to compete with. So if you have all 5 of those teams locked in, all quarterback play is great, defense is solid, I mean, there's no telling what the SEC is going to be this year. Nobody can sit there and say, yep, this team's going to win. I don't think
Cameron, give me your top 5. Give me your top 5.
Yeah, so my top 5 is I think it's the same one you said, Kyle. Texas, Georgia, South Carolina, LSU, and Bama.
Is it in that order, or are you just spitting them out?
I just wrote them down when you said it, but no, Bama's not first. It'd be Texas first. I would say Georgia's probably still second. I'm going South Carolina over at LSU, and then LSU, and then Bama. I think Ty Simpson's got to prove himself. 5. He's got to prove himself. But whenever we talk about quarterbacks, so I'm looking at return production. So, like you just said, multiple quarterbacks are new in this league. But reason why I'm high on Oklahoma now, I'm not saying they're going to run the table or anything like that. I think the quarterback is good. I think the quarterback is going to have a good game. John Mateer, he proved himself as a quarterback at Washington State. Now, whether that happens in the SEC, we all know that's different. That's my take. I'm excited to see him. I'm high on him, but at the same time, he's got to prove himself in the SEC.
And not only that,
I don't doubt John Mateer's ability. I mean, you talked about this on that show. I doubt the surrounding talent with him. He's got Jaden Ott that transferred over from Cal. I've seen plenty of this kid. We played him 2 years in a row at Auburn. He's a good athlete, and he is going to run that ball, and he is a hard runner, super agile, has the ability to make them plays. I don't doubt Mateer or Ott. What I doubt is everything else around them. I don't doubt the offensive coordinator that come over with Mateer. The offensive line was horrible. You made that stat. You actually told me this. Mateer got sacked 31 times just at Washington State. 31 times. Jackson Arnold got knocked down 55 times. 55 knockdowns and sacks 55 times. And he didn't even start every game at Oklahoma. That's what I worry about Oklahoma. It's not John Mateer. I know John Mateer and the Alabama system right now with that roster. Oh my gosh!
Oh, yeah.
You better go ahead and start making the national championship T-shirts rings right now. John Mateer at Georgia. Why didn't Georgia go get it? Why didn't they get it?
I don't know.
I don't get it, man. Ben Arbuckle is the offensive coordinator's name. I can't. The offensive coordinator for Georgia just went blank to me. Branson talks about him all the time, hates his guts, can't stand him. It's time for Kirby to move on from him too, because he makes some terrible calls a lot of times. But I'd have brought Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer over to Georgia, and you'd have been talking about them winning a national championship. That my point is John Mateer is elite, but the Oklahoma team, Brent Venables, is not elite.
That's their crutch. Brent Venables is their crutch there.
So if anybody of those 5 teams do have a leg ahead of the other 3, just talking quarterback play, it is Lenore Sellers at South Carolina and Garrett Nussmeier,
yes,
Nussbus, because they've played a 12-game season against SEC teams going to the hard stadiums. We know what they are. We don't know what a full season with Arch Manning is going to be after Texas lost a lot of people, right? They lost Gunner. What's that? Gunner tight end, big number 85. No, was it Humphreys? Gunnar Humphreys, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, they lost a lot.
Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden. Yeah. I mean, Isaiah Bond, which he should have stayed at Bama. He'd have been better off. But they've got to prove themselves. So I think they have the leg up. I'm going to be as conservative as I can. I think South Carolina, LSU, Georgia, Bama, or Texas, Georgia, Bama. I'm not going to say Bama's not fifth, but.
Let's roll in, since we're talking about Georgia and Bama, to this number one clip that we have on this 5 plays list that we made of the best SEC plays in 2024. Drop it.
There's a lot of calm and command from Milroe at the start of this game. He's got to have it right now. And they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams, still spinning free. Touchdown, Alabama, they answer in one play. 75 yards for the 17-year-old. Are you kidding?
He was 17 at the time, by the way, if nobody in the country knew that. He was 17 when he caught that. Look, I can take my orange and blue goggles off, and I'll tell you that despite what anybody else says, that was the best play of 2024. If I'm not mistaken, that's right when Georgia had come all the way back, took the lead, and then the following player, the following drive, you have Ryan Williams, true freshman, coming out there, making a play like that to win that game. It's textbook, Kyle. This is what SEC football is, man. It is, as that new documentary just come out, it's any given Saturday. It's any play, whether it's 1 second, 4th and 31, a block punt, you name it. Somebody will always show up and step up and make that play, and I think that's what makes the SEC so special.
So, and I made the comment of, you could take that play from the 17-year-old, or you could exchange it with the interception by Xavier Brown, another true freshman, right? The biggest thing for me, why that was such a big play, was Dylan Bell was smoking him all game. Like, he probably gave up 200 yards that game. Xavier Brown on Dylan Bell. It was bad. I was worried to death. For that freshman to come back, literally a touchdown pass. Like, if you take the odds of what was going to happen there, most people would have said Dylan Bell was going to catch that ball, or whoever the receiver was at that time. And for him to make that interception, like, that was huge. That was humongous. So I think that was just as – if that's not number in the top 5, that's a number 6 play.
I want to add to that. I want to add to the throw there. Milroe made a terrible throw, and Ryan Williams made up for it. I mean, the underthrown, you piled 2 Georgia defensive backs up and then run by them. I mean, that was just a Ryan Williams play. That
was all Ryan Williams. Yeah. And I, if you listen to the interview on that, they said that the play that they were running was actually curls, right? All 4 receivers were going for a first down, and I think Sheardon, right, said, hey, if you're matched up, if you're one-on-one and we have a too high look, Ryan, it's on you, right? Between you and Milroe, y'all decide. And he said he looked back, he lined up, man coverage, too high look, looks back at Milroe, and it's a nod. He knows right then and there. I hit on Milroe, right? That's a ball that, it was ugly. It was an underthrown ball. Some could say it was a back shoulder throw. It wasn't. He was thrown to the – either way. Fantastic play by Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
And to the point of talking about underthrown balls, I mean, we watched it when on the drive back when Georgia was on that big run coming back. A lot of Beck's balls were underthrown and was cooking. And the names are going blank to me now because we're just talking. Was cooking that cornerback on the outside over for Alabama. All the way down the field. I mean, it was Bell. It was Dylan Bell, the cornerback you just mentioned, but Beck was throwing every time behind. Dylan Bell was turning back, similar to what Ryan Williams did, catching the ball, was, making big chunk plays. And I remember calling a good buddy of mine, talking to him on the phone and saying, if Beck does that when they get in the end zone, it's going to be an interception, because it was literally so redundant. That whole series, we was watching it. And what happened when he got to the end zone? The interception, but it was the same exact play. Go back and watch that final drive. It was the same exact play. He's finding Bell. That's Beck. Beck was rushing to make a play, and he kept going back to what was moving him all the way down the field, and the young cornerback adapted and intercepted to seal that ball game. And that's another point that I was talking about with another friend of mine the other day. The game, the evolution of this game has changed so much from the lower ranks in high school, junior high school, travel ball, 7-on-7 camps. Like, these players are getting prepared at the next level so early, because 10, 15 years ago, you didn't see very many true freshmen just come out day one playing. You're seeing it a lot. I mean, I touched on it when we had the podcast with my buddy Kyle Rush from the Barn. If you're an Auburn fan, tune in the show, check it out. He's got a lot of good content over there, and he's very non-biased when it comes to other games too. So, but Auburn had 26 true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, or sophomores last year playing out of 45 players. 26. You just don't see that a lot in today's time. Like, I feel like the game is elevated and changed. I'd like to get y'all's takes on that. What do y'all think? Is it just talent, kids evolving, or is it introducing schematics and techniques at a younger age now that's just getting these players ready for ball so soon?
I think it's a lot of those points you just said, but like for me, right? And I'm obviously there's a reason I'm not a SEC head coach, right? But for me,
because you're saving lives selling insurance to people. You don't have time for that.
If I'm a head coach and I have a 5-star quarterback, highest rated, and let's just say Keelan Russell, right? And NIL is what it is today. Transfer portal is what it is today. I'm investing hard on Keelan Russell, because if he is that high talented quarterback, like we talked about earlier, he got a lot of talent. You don't want to lose him, right? If Ty Simpson's the guy, and you can get Keelan to be invested so that he will stay and he doesn't understand next year it's yours, and you got 3 years after that, then great. But I mean, I worry if Keelan Russell doesn't start, if he doesn't get a lot of playing time, I worry for him to see him leave. It is what it is.
It's funny that you said that, because we was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was kind of the similar situation with Deuce Knight, talking about, right now Auburn has Jackson Arnold, and he has been declared the starter for the season. And then they also brought in Ashton Daniels, was a 2-year starter at Stanford. He didn't go through the spring because he wanted to stay and get his degree from Stanford. Couldn't imagine why, one of the best schools in the country. But he missed out on spring and come into the fall, and now you're sitting with a 5-star as a third string potentially, and they're kind of deviating. Now, how do you handle the depth chart? I mean, Daniels knew when he was coming into Auburn that he's not going to be the starter. He knew that he wasn't going to get much playing time. He was more or less coming in as a graduate assistant position to help coach the locker room. So the conversation come up, if you're up in a game and it's cleanup duty, do you put Daniels in or do you put Deuce in? And my answer is Deuce. There's no sense in putting Ashton Daniels, a 2-year starter that gave up his starting position to come somewhere else because he wants to get into the coaching role. Do I think the situation's different if Jackson Arnold struggles and you need to find a veteran solution right away? Yeah, in that situation, you put Ashton Daniels in. But I'm with you, man. It seems like in today's time, if you're a highly rated recruit and you're coming to a school, it's two things, right? You're either promised playing time or you get a lot of change. You're getting a lot of coins. So in this scenario, I mean, I'm sure Deuce is compensated well. I can't speak on his wallet, but I do think that if Auburn's up in big games against a Ball State or a South Alabama or, a Kentucky coming to Auburn or a Mercer or something of that nature, don't waste your time putting Ashton Daniels in, a veteran quarterback. Get that young guy in there and let him get after it.
Yeah, well, that's like Austin Simmons, right? Jackson Dart goes down. They don't go to a veteran quarterback. They go to Austin Simmons, and look what he did. So I think utilizing the freshman early is big for the program. It's big for your depth. I'm gonna be honest with you. If Ty Simpson starts, I would so much rather see Austin Mack hit the transfer portal than Keelan Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the highest rated 5-star Bama's ever gotten, and that's including Bryce Young and Julio Jones. That's crazy.
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, at State, in my opinion, the most talent in that quarterback room is Kamario Taylor, freshman out of Knoxville. He's all the hype that I've seen. I mean, the dude's fall camp, he's throwing dots. I think experience is going to get him. I would love to see him starting. I'm not sold that by the end of the season, Shapen isn't taking out some to try. And they got Cromanhope too. He come from Florida State. So I'm with you there. I think that the Neal and the transfer portal has really played into that factor, though, because just like Will Rogers, I mean, you see what happened to State. He goes to Washington for 1 year, gets a Neal deal, puts some money up. Look at Nico. I mean, it was money to him. So then they had to go to Aguilar. I think a lot of this is the transfer portal, Neal deals. And then the only reason why Nussmeier's back in LSU is just for a 5th year. He could go to the NFL if he wanted to, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Well, and he's raising his draft stock because he will be – what other quarterbacks are going to come out in the draft this year?
Yeah.
I mean, we saw
Not
Jackson
many.
Hart.
There's not
Jackson
many.
Hart.
I mean,
Yeah.
Klubnik, Nussmeier, maybe Sawyer Robinson from Baylor, potentially. He's good.
Yeah,
Dante
so, I mean,
Moore. You know, there's
if I'm an NFL franchise, I'm taking Nussmeier over – I mean, Klubnik or Nussmeier over anybody else, pretty high, right?
I'll take Nussmeier over Klubnik. People can, get after me in the comments if y'all want to. I trust Nussmeier. So,
I don't know, but that's a tight race. That's a tight race.
Hey,
do the poll.
We'll find out week one.
Do the poll.
Comment. Cameron's got a poll he wants to address to us. We're going to leave your answer in the comments. If you're on Apple Podcasts or if you're on Spotify, because I do have a few stragglers over there listening, I appreciate y'all. Get on YouTube today so you can watch the plays and understand the video that we're talking about. But we're also going to be having a poll in the comment section. Cameron, lay it on.
All right. Saturday, college game day's on. Cool weather's coming in. Hey, you getting ready for the feast? Yeah, you getting ready for the feast? What you picking? You picking drums or flats? Need to know. You get them chicken wings out. You doing drums or flats?
Hey, I'm taking the flat. I'm busting that knuckle.
That's right. Flats all day over here.
So flats is 3-0 right now. 3-0, baby. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all coming on. This was fun, man. I enjoyed the heck out of this. This was an awesome podcast. Look, expect to see a lot more stuff in the future coming up with these two. They've helped me out a lot. They're constantly sending me ideas and stuff. Super thankful for them. And we're going to turn this Common Fan podcast into something for everybody. So thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another episode of the
It's going to be a thruple.
I'm so glad you went with that versus what I said before the podcast started.
Yeah.
All right. This has been the Common Fan. See y'all next time.
You've been listening to The Common Fan. See y'all next time. Same tailgate.